So again, like the breadcrumbs, things will lead you into the path you're meant to be on. It got me into podcasting, and then I started coaching. Like I didn't plan any of this, but following those intuitive nudges, that's how I got to where I'm at.
See, and that greatly illustrates. See, there's actually a quote from my book. It says, "You weren't born to simply exist and then die. Each one of us were born with a unique skill set, with a unique perspective on life, and without interference from others, we would naturally become who we were meant to be." And it's that interference from others. That's the biggest killer of dreams out there. Before we even get to what you're doing now, how did you come to the realization that you had to get out of corporate, and how did you wrestle with getting ready to thrust into the unknown?
Well, for 2 years, I had been going through the motions, asking my boss for more work. I was bored. Like, I'm naturally driven and ambitious. I am a go getter. But I was stuck on that hamster wheel, unhappy, unfulfilled. And then when it started getting to the point, every day I woke up hitting the snooze button 2 or 3 times, rolling out of bed, going through life's motions, that was my wake up call. That feeling of just unfulfilled and like, is this all there is? Like, I have to do this for another 40 years until I can retire. And it was that thought and that realization that I was like, I am meant for more. And I know a lot of people can relate and feel that. And what you were kind of alluding to is all of these limitations, fear, lack, and limitation have been imposed on us through conditioning, through our culture, through societal, through familial. And nothing against my parents, but I come from a very old school background. My dad worked one job until he retired with a pension. That's not the world we're living in. And my mom was a stay at home wife. So I come from a go to school, get a job, retire, and die. And that status quo, that middle class mentality, that mediocrity, my soul was like, that's not what you're here for. And so I really did have to come against not only my subconscious programming and what everybody else was doing around me, but choosing to follow that intuitive nudge, knowing I was meant for more. So, I mean, that comes down to a lot of trust and surrender. And then, I mean, like the floodgates open up.
Absolutely. I want to share a quick story that illustrates what you just said. So I spoke at a middle school career fair a few years ago. And so middle school, you're talking 12 to 14 years old, depending when the kid was born. And so I called on one of the students and I was like, what's the timeline of life? They're like, you go to school, you go to college, you go to work, like get married, and then you retire, and then you die. And these are teenagers. These are teenagers that did that. And it's like so at that age, that's the path that they're going down. And to something else you said, once you figure out how the world works, and then you can break free from that conditioning, as you said, that's when the floodgates open. So for me, I hit that same point. I was managing restaurants. I did it for a long time, long days, long hours, having to cancel vacation, just get called in on the days off, missing all the after school stuff with the kids. Like, I just decided, like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, I'm done. But the fear was there. But I started focusing more on fitness, and then guess what happens? I got fired from my management job. It's like I was afraid to make the leap myself. So it's like the universe was like, dude, go. It's like we opened the door, just go through it, and here we are.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what was next for you? So you did you quit the job,
Yep.
you're chasing your path. Like, how did things start to unfold from there?
Well, like I said, I quit in 2017 and I really did take about a 2.5 year sabbatical. I was, and I have an Airbnb and I had money saved up. So, like, that was kind of my stream of income. But I feel like it was almost on that self discovery journey. Like, I wanted to quote, find myself. And it was through all of that that I realized, all right, well, I can do this. Again, I was in personal development circles, finding evidence, and I had support. And So I just took a leap of faith and I started figuring it out, right? Like w- how I started my coaching business compared to where I'm at today are very different. But you have to get started. So understand that like you're constantly adapting and innovating and upgrading and up leveling. So your 20th chapter is going to look very different from your first, but you just have to get started. So that's what I did. I put it out there in a social media marketing, and I got a couple clients from Facebook and my kind of that inner circle and community. And then I got into the podcasting and sharing on other social platforms. And so I'm continually growing and evolving. And it's like, what's next?
Love it. So when did you start your podcast?
That was December of 18, I believe.
And how many episodes are you up to?
Just shy of 700.
Shy of 700. Wow, you got me doubled over here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And look,
Well
that's the
done.
thing. Same thing with podcasting, right? So people look, well, comparison is the thief of all joy. But when you're
Yep.
comparing your chapter one to somebody else's chapter, it's like, well, why would I even get started? And trust me, my early days of podcasting, I remember I have all Apple products, but I was using GarageBand and I would type up a script and hope it didn't sound like I was reading it. Compared to now, I can come up with a headline or a tagline or an idea and riff on my solo episodes for like an easy 15, 20 minutes because I put in the reps.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I actually helped a few people start podcasts, and I've said that too. And they're like, well, I can't do it like you. I'm like, and you shouldn't. You have to do it like you. It's like you have to show up your authentic self, and then people that are like minded or who like your delivery, they're gonna gravitate towards you. Like I was told by a speaker coach that like you can't go doing podcasts in a tank top. I'm like I manage a gym and I'm an athlete. This is me. This is how I dress. This is how I dress in everyday life. If I showed up here in a three-piece suit, that's not what I do. Like that's not me anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna dive in, and we have guests in 65 countries. I mean, audience. I mean, in 65 countries, I have guests from 6 of the 7 continents. You know what I mean? It's like, and not one person has ever been like, I wish you didn't have that shirt on. So again, going back to letting somebody else try to dictate my what my standards should be. Like the content of the stuff that we share on here has the power to change people's lives. Like the shirt that I'm wearing absolutely does not matter. So, anyways, so yours is mindset matters, right?
Mind over matter.
Mind over matter. I was close. It was in the ballpark. In the ballpark. Yeah, and so why did you pick that concept?
Well, and that was even a rebrand. So when I started podcasting, it was called Living a Balanced Life. Like that's cute, but that's not what it was about. And what
Yeah.
I realized after, I don't know, maybe 100 episodes or whenever I rebranded, I talk about two things: mindset and manifesting. And here's the thing about manifesting. There's no woo woo. We are all manifesting every single day. It's just whether or
Yes.
not you're living your life by design or by default. So that's when I rebranded into Mind Over Matter. And that's what I love sharing. I've had guests anywhere from, I had the holistic psychologist, I've had 9-figure business owner, endurance athletes. And I just love sharing from different perspectives and mentalities the power of mindset, that you are the creator of your reality. When you take 100% radical responsibility, the sky is not the limit, your belief system is.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I must say that mind over matter in the gym at least multiple times per week, especially when we're doing things like holds, like planks and wall sits, things of that nature, like squat holds, like any type of thing we were holding. Like guys, I'm like, you can do this. I'm like, maybe you don't want to, but you can. So I always say, mind over matter. I'm like, let your mind go to a happy place. Just let it wander. Don't focus on how bad the plank sucks. Right? If you want to focus on good stuff and you want to shift that pain elsewhere. Like I tell people, if we're doing a wall sit and your legs are burning, I always tell them like squeeze your abs. Like squeeze your abs. And now your brain is focused here and you're less focused on the fact that your legs are burning. And then the clock goes by like, look, you just did a 3-minute wall sit. Right? It said if I didn't give you that shift, you would have come off the wall. And they agree. Like, yeah, you're right. I definitely would have. So when you talk about this stuff, because I noticed this when you interviewed me, that when you really get into it, you light up, right? Because that's how you know you're doing what you should be doing. So share a moment where you're working with someone and then they finally had that moment where they just got it.
Generally, it happens quickly for my clients, and kind of what you shared there is it's that shift in focus. But my recent client, after our first call, so on our second call, she shared like she was motivated again and she had focus and clarity and a roadmap. And that's why, look, why do people invest in coaches? Clarity, accountability, a new perspective, someone to call you out of your patterns that aren't serving you. But something I want to share that's top of mind. I just finished re-listening to Think and Grow Rich.